A certificate of authenticity there. Once I tested the horn, it didn't work. I'm quite excited actually to be getting around to doing this now after, I think it's about a year it's been sort of sat around in the garage. Obviously I've been spending time doing the inspection and getting the car through that. So now it's time to finally get it on the car. So there we go, our Nardi steering wheel. Move that out of the way a minute. So what I've gone for is, I've gone for the more traditional look to match the console. So it comes with its own nice little bag. A number. There we go. So I've gone for the black insert rather than the chrome. So I thought the chrome's a little bit, maybe a little bit old-fashioned on the Barchetta, I'm not sure. So I went for the black. And you've got the nice wood there with the black insert. So yeah, it's going to look really good, I think. So as well as the steering wheel, you need to get a hub so you can attach it to the steering column. There's lots of different makes, but I got the Nardi one just so everything's matching. Oh, one other thing, it comes with the horn button, which it has the Nardi logo on it, but I've ordered something else, a different one, that will sort of match the car and should sort of give it sort of that finishing touch, which is here. So it's got the actual Fiat logo on it, sort of the older Fiat logo, which sort of matches the logo you get on the back of the Barchetta. There we go, pretty good. So that's that. So we've also got the hub, so we can attach it to the steering wheel, to the steering column I mean. So there's our hub, so the wheel goes on there, like that, and some screws there as well that go in there, and also this is the important bit, instructions of course, but as well as the instructions you've got these little cables, which should save me a lot of work. So for the horn button, to connect the horn to the steering column, and then also this, which is to help with the airbag light, because obviously when I take the steering wheel out, I'm taking the airbag out as well, so the airbag light will come on, and this resistor should go in the cable for the airbag and stop the light coming on. So hopefully that will do the job. Right, there's all our bits and pieces there. Let's get everything together and go into the garage, and then we'll fit the steering wheel. Right, here we go. So the first thing to do is make sure the battery is disconnected. There we go. So that's been disconnected overnight, which is plenty of time for all the power to sort of dissipate and avoid any accidental airbag explosions. Right, it's time to crack on. So first job is to take the airbag off. That's fixed by 3 bolts which are behind, just behind sort of the back of the steering wheel. There's one there, and another one in the middle up underneath, and that's an Allen key bolt is securing those. So I'll undo those 3 and then we'll take the airbag off and then see what's next. Alright, if you have a look inside, that's the main wire there for the airbag, and we've got the cables there for the horn on both sides. So the first thing I need to do is get that out there without breaking anything, because obviously at some point it'll probably have to go back on. I think it's just a case of pulling this off, so I think that's just clipped in actually, so I'm just going to pull that off there. try to. There we go. That's it. Airbag removed. Right, so that leaves us with, so under here we've got our nut. Hopefully I've got a socket big enough for that. And then we've got the horn cables here. All plugged in here actually. I don't know. Yeah, I think if I pull this out, and I'll take a picture first so I know how it all goes back together. So that's obviously, I think that's the power for, I'm not sure, anyway, so if I unplug this, I think that's all for the airbag, or the clock spring part of the airbag. That's the horn. So now I need to get this nut undone here. Alright, I don't actually have anything big enough to go on there. All I've got is a 21, but I think that's a 22. So I'm gonna have to go shopping. Right, I don't have the right size nut for the steering column here, so I just need to pop out and get one. Back in a minute. Right, let's crack on. Alright, let's try and do this. That's it, that's loose. That was easier than I thought it would be. There's our nut. Right, I think now that the steering wheel should just lift off. I've got the other camera sort of behind, so I'm going to put this one down and the other one can film me trying to lift it off. I don't think there's anything else holding it in. Let's move in, there we go. Right. Just need to be careful with these wires, I think. Feed them through carefully. There we go, one Fiat Barchetta steering wheel off. Okay. Now I'm not sure, do I leave the clock spring on there or do I take that off? Right, I've got the new hub, so I'm pretty sure the clock spring stays on. I just need to connect the resistor to the airbag cable, and obviously that's for the horn. So that's going to feed through there on the side. So if I put that on now, that's going to somehow go through there. Right, at last. And the hub, which I'll show you actually. Right, so there's a notch there on the hub. Probably need to go back a bit more. Right, after much fiddling around, I've got it on there, and it is pushed back far enough. There's enough there for the nut to go on. So I didn't really need to take off all that sort of the steering column surround. It's just, it was me sort of not knowing what to do really. I don't think that's going anywhere. Right, what's next? That goes over there. Now I've got this, but in the instructions I'm not sure which way round it's supposed to go. It's like that, or like that. Yeah, it's definitely like that way around, because otherwise the holes wouldn't line up. So let's put that over the top. Right, the hub's in place, so we're left with the airbag connector and the horn connector. So if we get our little bag of bits. One thing I've seen straight away is that's the resistor for the airbag, and the pins on there, hope you can see that, the pins are flat and square. So try and put them in there, and they're just not going to fit. So what I did last night, I went on Amazon and I got this, which is basically the same as that, but in a little box, which hopefully won't be too big to fit inside the steering wheel. But as you can see, it's got the two round pins, so that will go in there like that. So just need to tuck that in there somehow out of the way. Ideally I'd like to use something like that, because obviously it's sort of flexible, but I just can't get any of those right now quickly in time to finish this and get the video out today, which is actually Sunday, so I'm filming and editing today to get it out today. So that's something I can sort of come back and do another time, but for now it should do the job and stop the airbag light coming on. So our other cable is the horn, and included in the packet was this. Very conveniently it will plug in there. That's that, and the other end will go on the horn button. So that's another thing, on the horn button there's only one connector, which I'm guessing is the live red one. So the earth, not sure, maybe it earths itself once it goes in with the steering wheel in there. I don't know, we'll have to see if it works when it all goes back together. Next step is to put our steering wheel on. Right, I think we're ready to put the steering wheel on. Right, got our steering wheel. Let's get it fitted to the car. There we go. It's going to look amazing. Right. Connect the horn. On the steering wheel. And we need to check the horn works. Well, actually, let's check the. I'll connect the battery and then we'll check the airbag light and the horn. Okay, here's the moment of truth. Let's turn the ignition on and see if the airbag light goes out. Yeah, there we go. So our little gadget works. Fantastic. Right, I'll put the plastic cover back on the steering column, and then we'll take the car outside. Alright, just as I was ready to go out, I forgot to test the horn. So I tested the horn and it didn't work. So, as you can see, there's only one connector there for the live connection for the horn, and there's no ground, so no earth. So I have to connect the other cable there somehow to the back of here. I've seen somebody else do this on YouTube, and they fed it through the back there. So I think that's what I'll do. Put it through the back there and connect it up, and then it will ground, and then it will always be in contact when the horn's pushed. Right, so what I've done is I've got the wire grounded on the back there. So I'll put the horn back together, and obviously when it's all back together, because it's sort of under pressure, it shouldn't sort of go anywhere, it should just stay in there. It's a little bit disappointing really I've had to do this. You'd think sort of Nardi would have had a solution sort of ready made, but maybe we're too used to having everything done for us already without sort of using a bit of common sense or whatever to sort things out ourselves. But anyway, there we go. Let's get it back on the car. Alright, here's our newly wired horn button. So we'll just pop it back in, and that should be it. There we go. Right, let's get everything back together and move it outside, and we'll see how it looks. Well, what can I say? It looks amazing. I couldn't be happier with it. I'm glad I sort of got the Fiat horn button as well, rather than the standard Nardi one, 'cause it's got the Fiat logo on it. But yeah, matches the console really well. Really pleased with that. Only disappointing bit really was the horn button. That was a bit fiddly, but I got there in the end. And obviously no airbag light, which is the main thing when you take the steering wheel off with the airbag. Fantastic. So thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and hit the like button and share it as well. See you next time.